Ben Simmons has always been one unique type of player. It's not every day that your starting point guard is 6'11". The man was just different, and he proved some good stuff out on the court. He proved that he is capable of being an all-star and potentially the leader of a team. But after an ugly playoff performance and some pretty bad remarks towards his own team, Ben Simmons has gone from one of the more respected players in the league to becoming one of the more hated and laughed at players today. But how did this transition occur in such a short period of time? How is everybody doing today? It's Untitled back with another video. Today, I'll be talking about Ben Simmons and how he became one of the more hated players in the NBA today. Let's not waste any time, and let's get straight into it. Ben Simmons was born in Melbourne, Victoria, which is one of the richest cities as of today. As for his parents, his father played in the NBL, which is an Australian basketball league, and he was an all-star and played for 13 seasons. He was pretty good. Now, something you may not know about Simmons was that when he was an adolescent, he was debating between two sports and which one he really wanted to focus on: basketball and Australian football. He eventually decided basketball was his move, and it seemed like a good choice at the time. When Simmons was in high school, he had very strong stats. In his junior year, he was averaging around 18 points, 10 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists per game. This guy seemed like he was pretty good. He would end up getting offers from colleges like Kentucky, Kansas, and Duke. He decided to go with LSU. Now, Ben Simmons was a one and done in college, so he only played one season where he started in 32 games and averaged 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. Simmons would also have a PER of 29, which basically meant he was balling. But after one season of college, Ben Simmons already felt he was ready and decided to declare for the 2016 NBA draft, and this is where business started booming for him. Due to Simmons' outstanding performance in college, he was drafted first overall by the Philadelphia 76ers. So far, so good. But not even 2 months later, Simmons would already take a pretty big hit. On September 30th, 2016, Simmons rolled his ankle during a scrimmage in training camp. An MRI was done, and he fractured a bone in his foot. He was originally supposed to be out for 3 to 4 months, but by the time the date arrived for his return, he did some tests to make sure he's ready, and they realized that he still was not fully healed up. Therefore, he was missing the rest of the season, which meant that 2017 to 18 was his rookie season, and let's just say it was worth the wait. After missing a full season of basketball, Simmons would play and start in 81 games and average 16 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals per game. He played so well that he was obviously a part of the All-NBA rookie team, and of course would win Rookie of the Year. Simmons would make up for his year of missing by doing stuff like this, and like I said before, it was 100% worth the wait. But the very next season, Simmons got even better. He would make his first All-Star game at 22 years old, played 79 games and averaged 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. By the way, Simmons was putting up these types of points without making a single three. He literally had the body and height of a big man, but the skills of a guard. He was like a demigod in NBA 2K. Nobody could really stop this man. But then came the 2019-20 season. It was another season where Simmons played very well, but there was the pandemic, so that could throw someone off. But for Simmons, people really started noticing his defense that season. He would still average 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, but also had 2 steals, which so far has been a career high. And due to some lockdown defense by Simmons, he would end up being a part of the all-defensive team for the first time in his career. Ben Simmons was starting to get looked at as an inspiring young talent in the league. It seemed like it was going well for him, and he had a bright future. Another reason I say this is because that same season, Simmons got an extension for 5 years and $170 million. Just racks on racks at this point. Everything was going just as planned, until the 2020-21 season. Simmons only played 58 games and averaged 14 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, and a steal. He would make his third All-Star appearance, but the stats were a little worse than before. He would then go into the playoffs, and this is really where Ben Simmons would get exposed. The 76ers were playing the Atlanta Hawks in the semifinals, and before this series, Simmons was playing relatively well. But in Game 2 of the semifinals, the pain started. Simmons had 4 points, 2 turnovers, 7 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 3 rebounds, and he only took 3 shots the whole game. The 76ers still won this game, but Ben Simmons needed to get back on track before it gets even worse. And after Game 4 of the semifinals, Simmons would go from pretty good to shouldn't even be a starter. Simmons would this time score just 8 points and 9 assists, a steal, block, and 2 turnovers. Simmons also took just 4 shots and made 2. But the worst of all, he shot 14 free throws and missed 10 of them. It was just ugly to watch. But wait, there's more. The very next game, Simmons went 2 for 6 from the field with just 6 points. Even though he was still getting boards and assists, he wasn't doing the one thing a point guard is used for, scoring. And Game 7 of the semifinals was the worst game Simmons had in any critical situation. He had a box score of 5 points, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 13 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 for 4 from the field, and to make matters even worse, being scared to dunk on a man who was 6'1". After that day, Sixers fans despised Ben Simmons and wanted him out of Philly immediately. The Sixers are trying to trade him, but they still haven't worked out a trade. And during the offseason, a video was posted on social media of Ben Simmons knocking down some deep threes in a pickup game. Now, fans would get excited, but they didn't want to fall for the same thing again. The reason I say this is because in the previous offseason, it was pretty much the same thing. So fans were sort of like, quote unquote, we've seen this before and we know what will happen. Simmons would then announce towards the start of the preseason that he wanted a trade, officially wanting to part ways with Philly. So that's already bad. But when he was at practice in October, it got way worse. Simmons already missed training camps and didn't play a single game with the Sixers as he was really irritated. So he decided to return to the team in October to practice, and he got kicked out. Simmons was supposed to be subbed in during practice as Doc Rivers kept repeating his name, asking him to come in. But Simmons didn't care, so Coach Doc would end up losing his cool and kick him out of practice. Not just that, but he was suspended for a game for doing so. Reporters asked Joel Embiid what his thoughts were in all this, and he simply said,
"At this point, I don't care about that man."
But wait, it gets even worse. Ben Simmons was fined a total of $1.4 million due to missing the preseason, not showing up to practice, missing on-court workouts and meetings. Simmons attempted to justify himself by explaining to his team he has a mental health issue. So the Sixers decided to listen and pause the fine. But it was reported yesterday by ESPN that the fining will resume, only making Ben Simmons' situation harder to get out of. So let's answer a few questions before ending the video. Number 1, will Simmons find himself a new home? Well, I definitely think Philly will get him out, but to be honest, I have no clue where. It won't be easy giving him up with that contract, but sooner rather than later, he should be out of there. Number 2, is Ben Simmons still considered an all-star? We have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if his game has declined a little due to this situation, but I still think he can put up about 14 points a game. And number 3, how did Ben Simmons go from one of the more talented young stars to this hated player? It is 100%, without a doubt, the Kardashian Curse.
Huh?
Nah, I'm just kidding. I would say that it's probably just Simmons wasn't capable of handling the spotlight. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is good. But even I at times was saying I don't think Simmons should be a point guard because there may be a bunch of pros, but there is also a lot of cons. Ben Simmons has had a pretty rough couple of months. We'll see if things will turn around or not. That is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please consider to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I'm on the grind to 2,000 subscribers, so please subscribe if you're new. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. I'm out.